Welcome back, my freedom-loving community. Today we are going to continue exploring Maine's political legacy through the figures that lead us. We looked into Representative David Boyer, and we have also started digging into Senator Angus King. I say started because after the last video, which I'll link above, I realized that there was more that I wasn't getting into, and that there was more that I should focus on. So that being said, that's what I want to do here today. In the realm of American politics, few figures embody the spirit of independence and pragmatic governance as profoundly as Senator Angus King. Representing Maine since 2012, King's journey from a revered governor to a significant figure in the Senate is marked by a steadfast commitment to bipartisanship and a tireless pursuit of policies that resonate with the everyday lives of his constituents. His career, a blend of public service and a notable independent streak, offers a unique perspective in an era often characterized by political polarization. King's tenure as governor of Maine from 1995 to 2003 was distinguished by several groundbreaking initiatives that left indelible marks on the state's education, healthcare, and environmental landscapes. One of his foremost notable contributions was the Maine Learning Technology Initiative, MLTI, under which championed the distribution of laptops to every 7th and 8th grade student in Maine public schools. This pioneering effort not only catapulted Maine to the forefront of integrating technology in education, but also set a precedent nationwide for embracing digital literacy in learning environments. In healthcare, King's administration was instrumental in expanding access to Medicaid, significantly enhancing healthcare coverage for children and low-income populations in Maine. This expansion was a critical step towards ensuring that essential healthcare services were within reach of those who most need, showcasing King's commitment to the well-being of all Mainers. Environmental stewardship was another cornerstone of King's governorship. He advocated for policies aimed at conserving Maine's pristine natural landscape and promoting sustainable development. His administration's efforts in land conservation and promotion of renewable energy sources highlighted a deep understanding of the intricate balance between economic growth and environmental preservation. Senator King's journey from the governorship to the Senate is marked by these enduring contributions. His independent stance in politics, underscored by a commitment to bipartisanship, has not only shaped his political career, but has also left a lasting impact on the state of Maine and its residents. Angus Stanley King Jr., born on March 31st, 1944, in Alexandria, Virginia, grew up in a landscape far removed from the rugged beauty of Maine, which he would eventually come to represent. His early years in Alexandria were marked by a developing interest in politics and public service, laying the groundwork for his distinguished career. King's journey from his formative years to his pre-political career offers a fascinating glimpse into the making of an independent political figure. King's educational path began at Dartmouth College, where he earned his bachelor's degree in 1966. His time at Dartmouth was not just an academic endeavor, it was a period of political and intellectual awakening. The 1960s were a tumultuous era in American history, and a vibrant campus life undoubtedly played a role in shaping King's perspectives on governance and public service. After Dartmouth, King pursued a law degree at the University of Virginia School of Law, graduating in 1969. This legal education would later prove instrumental in his approach to governance, providing him with a solid foundation in understanding the intricacies of law and policy. Post-law school, King embarked on a career that was a blend of legal practice and public advocacy. He started as a staff attorney from Pine Tree Legal Assistance in Skowhegan, Maine, a role that immersed him in the realities of legal challenges faced by the underprivileged. This experience was crucial in developing his understanding of the legal system role in social justice. King then Future Drew here, interrupting your regularly scheduled program to bring you an update from the sponsor, Tumblr Up. Now, I've had products from here before, and you will recognize them. This beautiful work was done in commemoration of the Lewiston victims. And today, I was just gifted a new mug from Tumbler Up, who is the sponsor of this Angus King video. So, Tumbler Up, thank you! Now, unveiling the new mug. Look at this. What part of shall not be infringed don't you understand? And this specifically is a thermos. It's a hot and cold thermos. Has a metal straw with a pipe cleaner to clean it out. So this is just some examples of what can be done. I know I've had mugs and thermoses and water bottles, but it can go as far as t-shirts, hats, you name it, it can be done. So Tumbler Up has a sublimation printer, and the sublimation printer allows you to put on an image to basically anything that can be heat pressed. So Tumbler Up, again, the sponsor of today's video, big shout out, big thank you, my first ever supporter. So just keep it up. And if you have any kind of custom needs, go to Tumbler Up. I'll leave the link down below, and you will be able to get your own mug. If you like this, you can definitely buy one like this. But if you have an image of your dog, of your grandchildren, you name it, it can be done. Why go to big box retailers when you can customize your own stuff and support local businesses all at the same time? So once again, thank you, Tumbler Up, and now back to your regular program. Moved to a more political charged environment, serving as a chief counsel to the U.S. Senate Subcommittee on Alcoholism and Narcotics in the office of then Vice President of the United States. This position provided him a front row seat to legislative process and federal government operations. Returning to Maine, King continued his legal career in Brunswick, but soon his professional journey took a turn towards entrepreneurship and environmental advocacy. He ventured into business, hosting a public television series and focusing on energy conservation, a field that would later become a hallmark of his governorship. In 1989, King founded Northeast Energy Management Incorporated, an energy conservation company. This venture not only reflected his entrepreneurial spirit, but also his growing commitment to energy efficiency and environmental sustainability. These diverse roles before entering politics, attorney, public advocate, entrepreneur, and environmentalist, shaped King's multifaceted approach to governance. His legal background provided a framework for understanding and crafting policy, while his business and environmental work instilled in him a practical understanding of economic and ecological issues. King's early career is a tapestry of experiences that prepared him for the challenges of political life, equipping him with a broad perspective on the needs and concerns of his future constituents. His journey is a testament to the value of diverse experience in shaping effective and empathetic political leadership. Angus King's tenure as governor of Maine from 1995 to 2003 stands out as a period of significant reform and development across various sectors in the state. His administration's accomplishments in education, healthcare, environment, economic development, and bipartisan leadership paint a picture of a governor dedicated to progress and practical solutions. One of King's most celebrated achievements was the Maine Learning Technology Initiative, a pioneering program that provided laptops to every 7th and 8th grade student in Maine public schools. Launched in 2001, this initiative was the first of its kind in the nation, placing Maine at the forefront of integrating technology in education. The program aimed to enhance learning experience, promote digital literacy, and ensure equal access to technology for students, regardless of their socioeconomic background. The MLTI was not just about introducing technology into classrooms. It was about transforming the educational landscape by bridging the digital divide and preparing a generation of students for the future. I will say this is one area, Senator Angus King, that I will celebrate you for. I was in 6th grade in 2001. So it was launched in 2001. I was in 6th grade in 2001 when the planes hit the towers in September. That next year, I was the first to receive, in 7th grade, I was part of the first class to receive those laptops. And then it continued into 8th grade. So I was able to have a laptop. I was even able to take it home. Wi-Fi wasn't a thing at the time. Maybe Ethernets were, I'm sure there was something, but I was able to take that home and look at Encyclopedia Britannica and just jot down some ideas into whatever Apple had as docs. I don't use Mac products, so I don't know the lingo for that. So that was an area where I will celebrate you for. You were doing a great thing, and I personally benefited from this. I was the first class to get those laptops, and then I was part of the second year to receive them again. And it was profound. It was groundbreaking. So you did a lot of good things, Senator Angus King. That being said, I think your time is up. And so respectfully, I'm going to continue, but I want you to know that I'm celebrating you where I think it's deserved. In healthcare, King's administration was marked by significant reforms aimed at expanding access to medical service. A notable achievement was the expansion of Maine's Medicaid program, which made healthcare more accessible to low-income families, children, and individuals with disabilities. This expansion played a crucial role in reducing the number of uninsured residents in Maine and improving overall health outcomes. Under King's leadership, Maine's healthcare system became more inclusive and responsive to the needs of its most vulnerable populations. King's governorship was also characterized by a strong commitment to environmental conservation and sustainable development. He advocated for policies that protected Maine's natural resources, promoted renewable energy sources, and addressed climate change. King's administration worked on land conservation efforts, preserving large areas of Maine's wilderness from development. His focus on renewable energy, particularly wind and solar power, showcased his vision for sustainable and environmentally responsible Maine. Economically, King's tenure was a period of thoughtful development and fiscal prudence. He worked on diversifying Maine's economy, supporting growth in emerging sectors like technology and tourism, while bolstering traditional industries such as forestry and fishing. King's approach to fiscal management was characterized by a balance between judicious spending and necessary investment in services. He navigated the state through economic fluctuations, ensuring fiscal stability and laying the groundwork for future growth. As an independent governor, King's leadership was notably bipartisan. He worked effectively across party lines, a trait that was instrumental in navigating the state through various challenges. His ability to build consensus and collaborate with both Democrats and Republicans allowed for the successful implementation of various reforms and policies. This bipartisan approach was not just a political strategy, it was a reflection of King's belief in practical and inclusive governance. By focusing on pragmatic solutions rather than partisan politics, King's administration was able to achieve substantial progress in various areas, benefiting the state as a whole. Governor Angus King's administration was a period of significant progress for Maine. His achievements in education, healthcare, environmental conservation, economic development, and his ability to lead in a bipartisan manner marked his tenure as a time of transformative change and enduring impact. King's legacy as governor is defined by his commitment to advancing the state's interests through practical and inclusive solutions, setting a standard for effective governance. The journey of Angus King from a public servant to a multimillionaire raises intriguing questions about the financial trajectory of individuals in the political arena. As of 2023, King's estimated net worth stands at around $9.2 million, a substantial figure for someone whose career has predominantly been in public service. This shift warrants a closer examination of how King amassed such wealth and the implications it may have on the perception of his role as a public servant. Angus King's career, before his entry into the Senate, was marked by a blend of public service and a private sector involvement. His tenure as governor of Maine was characterized by significant contributions to the state, particularly in areas like education reform, healthcare, and environmental policies. However, it was post his governorship that King's financial status took a notable turn. The question arises, how does a career in public service, typically not associated with high financial gain, align with such an increase in personal wealth? Part of the answer lies in King's ventures outside the realm of public office. Before his governorship, King engaged in legal practice and later founded an energy conservation company, Northeast Energy Management Incorporated, in 1989. His involvement in the private sector, particularly in areas aligned with his public service interests, such as energy conservation, likely contributed to his financial growth. This blend of public service, ethos, and private and entrepreneurship paints a picture of a multifaceted career where public and private interests intersect. Additionally, investments and assets growth play a significant role in King's financial status. His financial disclosures reveal investments in various assets, including real estate, mutual funds, and corporate securities, and governmental securities. These investments are indicative of a strategic approach to wealth accumulation and management. However, this raises questions about the alignment of such wealth accumulation from the ethos of public service, where the primary focus is supposed to be on serving public interest. For the public, especially constituents who have experienced King's policies and leadership firsthand, this transition might be puzzling. The perception of a public servant amassing wealth can lead to skepticism about the motivations and priorities of their elected officials. In a state like Maine, where the ethos of hardworking and modest living is deeply valued, the substantial wealth of a public servant may seem at odds with the typical experiences of its residents. In sum, Angus King's transition from a career in public service to a status of considerable wealth invites scrutiny and questions. While his business acumen and savvy instruments may have undoubtedly played a role in this financial growth, they also open up a dialogue about the relationship between public service and personal wealth accumulation. As King continues to serve in the Senate, this aspect of his career remains a point of interest and discussion among observers and constituents alike. As a U.S. Senator, Angus King's role and effectiveness can be viewed through multiple lenses, reflecting his legislative actions, their impact, and the alignment with the interests of Mainers and Americans at large. King's current status as a multimillionaire adds another dimension to this analysis, raising questions about how wealth and influence intersect in the realm of political decision-making. The legislative actions and impact. Senator King's recent legislative initiatives reflect a focus on issues like gun control, healthcare, and environmental policies. His involvement in proposing the gas-operated Semi-Automatic Firearms Exclusion Act alongside Senator Martin Heinrich exemplifies his continued commitment to addressing current national concerns such as gun violence. However, this initiative, like many others, has been met with mixed reactions, illustrating the complex balance between public safety and the constitutional rights of all Americans. King's stance on healthcare and environmental issues remains consistent with his governorship, advocating for accessible healthcare and sustainable environmental policies. Yet the effectiveness of such actions often lies in their execution and tangible impact they have on citizens' lives. While his intentions align with critical issues, the practical outcomes of these legislative actions in improving the lives of everyday Mainers and Americans remains a key metric of his effectiveness. A critical aspect of King's role as senator is how well his actions align with the interests of everyday Mainers. As an independent, King's ability to navigate bipartisan waters is crucial, but so is his capacity to resonate with the local needs of his constituents. His legislative priorities and voting record should ideally reflect the diverse needs of Maine, from rural concerns to urban challenges. However, the breadth of these needs makes perfect alignment challenging and subject to scrutiny. King's status as a multimillionaire brings an additional layer to this analysis. Wealth can undeniably influence perspectives and decisions, potentially creating a disconnect with the average constituent. The concern is whether King's substantial wealth affects his understanding and responsiveness to the issues faced by less affluent Mainers. Does his financial status align him more closely with elite interests, or does he maintain a genuine connection with the broader populace? Moreover, King's wealth begs the question of representation. Can a multimillionaire effectively represent a state where many citizens face economic challenges markedly different from his own? This disparity could lead to decisions and priorities that, while well-intentioned, might not fully grasp the nuances of everyday struggles faced by the average Mainer. In conclusion, Senator Angus King's role and effectiveness as a senator are multifaceted. His legislative actions demonstrate a commitment to addressing significant national and state issues, but their effectiveness and alignment with constituent needs are complex and nuanced. The added factor of his wealth further complicates this analysis, posing questions about representation and alignment with constituent interests. As King continues his tenure in the Senate, the balance between his legislative actions, constituent alignment, and the influence of his wealth remains a critical aspect of his political persona and effectiveness as a public servant. In assessing the current state of leadership in Maine, it is crucial to strike a balance between appreciating the past service of leaders like King and recognizing the imperative for a critical evaluation of their current roles. Angus King has undoubtedly made significant contributions to the state over the years, and his dedication should be acknowledged. However, as we move forward, it is essential to ensure that our leadership aligns with the values and needs of Maine residents. Maine, like any other state, is not static. Its demographics, economic landscape, and societal dynamics evolve with time. Therefore, leadership that resonates with the present-day realities and aspirations of its people is paramount. While King's past achievements are laudable, it is essential to scrutinize whether his current role is in harmony with the ever-changing needs and concerns of Maine's diverse population. One must consider whether Maine could benefit from leadership that is more in touch with the current realities of its people. Fresh perspectives and innovative approaches to addressing the state's challenges can invigorate the political landscape and better serve the interests of the residents. This is not to diminish King's accomplishments, but to highlight the need for continuous adaptation and growth in leadership. Transparency, integrity, and relatability are the cornerstones of effective political leadership. Maine residents deserve leaders who are forthright in their actions and decisions, who adhere to ethical principles, and who can relate to the daily struggles and aspirations of the people they serve. These qualities foster trust and confidence among constituents, fostering a healthier and more productive relationship between the government and its citizens. Respectfully, Senator King, while there is a lot that you have done well that I am appreciative for, the Maine Learning Technology Initiative was something that benefited me. It was great. That was also 20 years ago. And you're still in office. You were born 46 years and 1 day before me. You could be my grandfather. There has to come a time when you retire. And respectfully speaking, Senator Angus King, your time has come. The fact that you think that people can retire at 67, 60 alone is already too old. If you want to continue working past 60, that should be your choice. 67 to 70 before you could even consider it? Are you kidding me? and you think that you have a chance to run for re-election at 79, 80 years old, you'll be 80 years old next year. You think you honestly have any right to run to represent the state of Maine. I dare say, one, you're not from the state. You came in out of nowhere for what seemed to be personal and political gains. And then you stuck around here and you've sucked us dry, profiting $9.2 million when your constituents in collective have to struggle to raise that kind of amount of money. What? We need new leadership. We need something different. And we can't get something different by continually doing the same thing. So I wanted to further look into your life, Senator King, because I do respect you to some degree. Unfortunately, some of your most recent actions have made it so it is very hard to be on your side. You have done a lot of good things, but while you've done those good things, I think it's time to step out, to bow out, and to allow the next generation to take over. And your support for the next generation could be hugely beneficial. But I think it comes to a point where you politely bow out so that others can do that. We don't want any kind of in-squabbling. We don't want any kind of infighting. And as an independent, you have room to navigate these tumultuous seas where others around you have been unable to. Don't squander that. Utilize that. And then take your substantial wealth and go retire. Go be with your grandchildren. Go enjoy yourself. Because at 80 years old, you don't have that much longer in life. My grandfather died at 96, which is an old life. But even then, you're still considering that's not even 20 years. Go enjoy yourself for 20 years. You worked hard. You did some work. You did stuff. Now go and relax. Because if you try to run for election again next year, you're going to be 86 by the time you get out of politics. And then you've got maybe, if you can live to 114 years, if you can live to 100. You don't want to do that. And don't do that to us. Please don't do that to us. And Senator Angus King, this isn't anything necessarily personal. You just happen to be someone vocally stupid recently in Maine news, and you needed to be pinpointed. The next person to speak up and say something stupid will be the one right up after, unless I'm already working on someone, in which case they will follow that person. We need to start investigating who is leading us, what drives them, where they came from, how old they are, what their plans are for the future, and how to stop them, if that's what it comes to, because go safe is awful. Get it off the table. Get it off the table. Get off the table that people need to retire, even at 67. 67 is a horrendous age to expect people to have to work to. No. No, 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 no. We are a civilized first world country, allegedly. And if that is for real, then we need to prove it by allowing citizens to retire in dignity after having worked so long to get where they got. We need to reevaluate this. And Social Security in general, all of it needs to be reevaluated, because people that have never paid into it are benefiting from it. But unless you paid into it, how the hell are you gonna reap benefits from it? Those are different benefits. If you haven't paid into it, then you need to reap benefits from somewhere else. Because I am paying into Social Security. I have been for 15 plus years, and I will until likely the day I die. How much of that am I gonna see? Personally, how much am I gonna see? But I'm paying into it every single paycheck. Things need to be reevaluated. And unfortunately, Senator Angus King, I don't think you're the man for the position any longer. I am going to be looking for someone to run against you, and I will be supporting that individual that eventually rises. Because politics is no place for 80-year-olds. So respectfully, politely step down. I would love to hear your opinion, specifically, Angus King. It would be nice to get together and talk, and we can film it, we can not film it. But as a constituent, as someone that could potentially vote for you in the future, as someone that reaches people that may or may not vote for you based on your reaction. At this point, I would like to know how you express yourself and where you're going from here, because I don't see a future for you in this regard with the way that you're going, but you're so headstrong in where you're headed. I would like to know where your future outcome is. And whether you're from Maine or not, challenge your politicians. They are public servants. Public servants. So if you feel that you aren't worthy of calling them out or asking them questions, you're a taxpayer. They're public servants. If they're making you feel that they are above you, that you're below them, already there is an issue. Do not allow that. Do not allow that. And if you're outside of the US, fight for freedom in whichever country you are. Maybe you already have freedom. Maybe you're longing for freedom, but we just have to get over this narrative that the people that rule us somehow know best, somehow are godlike. They are not. They are not. And in so many cases, they are so anti-godlike. They are the antithesis of morality and ethics. So many of the times, you and I, we don't support war. Like 75 to 85% of the time, we don't support war. Of course, there comes time when it is necessary, unfortunately. But then when it comes to the Congress, to Senate, to House, all of it suddenly, yes, bipartisan, war, spending, war, reaping, stealing, pillaging. But they couldn't even agree on how to save Americans' tax money? Excuse me? Something is so wrong here. Something is so wrong here. And I'm not the only one to notice it. So speak up, leave some comments down below. Was I too harsh on Senator King? Was I not harsh enough? Do you agree with what I was saying? Do you think there's more I should have focused on? Leave a thumbs up, leave a comment. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe, because I'm genuinely trying to get involved in the community and know what the community is thinking and feeling. Because it is you and I that are the constituents that Angus King is supposed to listen to. So if we're upset, if we have issues, if there are problems with us, if we're having issues in our lives, then we need to bring this to their attention. So I thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. As always, my freedom-loving community, I will see you in the next video.